Hello, my name's Gavin, this is Genre Books, and this is take 2 of the 9th bookshelf exploration, excavation. I did this a few weeks ago, went to edit the video, and the audio was unusable. I'm looking at my microphone connector right now, and I'm just daring it to go wrong on me again. So I'm going to confuse myself by going through these books yet again. But I do want to get these released in bookshelf order, so I'm re-recording it now and crossing my fingers. Abraham Merritt, The Dwellers in the Mirage, and The Face in the Abyss. Now I've read The Metal Monster and The Moonpool, enjoyed them both. He's certainly got an individual style. Why use one adjective in a sentence when 4 will do just as well? Both of these books, ones I'm probably getting to in the next year, dealing as they do with lost worlds and civilizations. Last year I finally got round to reading A Canticle for Leibowitz by Walter M. Miller Jr. Here is the sequel, which I have not yet got round to, but St. Leibowitz and the Wild Horsewoman. Military science fiction from Del Rey. This is Steve Miller, not that one, and Sharon Lee's Conflict of Honours. In the late 80s, early 90s, at bookshops you would always see these books. Julian May, and this is Intervention. I saw this one for pennies, and as I've never read them, thought I would give her a go. The Twilight Man by Michael Moorcock. In Penguin Classics, Utopia, Thomas More. Still waiting for its Penguin Classics debut, Starbrat by John Morrissey. I'm not sure if this is a collection or an anthology. It's different writers, so it should be an anthology, but it's all based around the same sort of story, so it's a collection. And it's After War, compiled by Janet Morris for Baen Books, and including stuff from Gregory Benford, David Drake, Janet Morris, Stephen Lee, Esther M. Freisner, Ian Watson, Craig Shaw Gardner, C.J. Cherry, and others. A true anthology now, and a collection of works, I think mostly from the 1930s, compiled by Sam Moskowitz. This is Exploring Other Worlds, and there are stories here by Sam Moskowitz, Iando Binder, R.F. Starzl, Edmund Hamilton, Frederick Brown, Ross Racklin, Paul Anderson, and Stanley G. Weinbaum. So all names I'm very familiar with from the pulps. Pierre-Ambroise Francois Trotleros de Laclos. I'll just call them Laclos, it's Dangerous Liaisons. Another anthology, this time edited by Robert P. Mills. This is a decade of fantasy and science fiction. And this is a 300 page plus anthology. It's fairly chunky, and it has, amongst others, Manly Wade Wellman, Avram Davidson, John Masefield, Paul Anderson, Ogden Nash, Isaac Asimov, Zena Henderson, Alfred Bester, Anthony Boucher, Ward Moore, Horace Walpole, Theodore Sturgeon, and Robert F. Young. So plenty of quality names to get into. The City of the Beast by Michael Moorcock, originally published as The Warriors of Mars by Edward P. Bradbury. So a change of name and a change of title. A similar thing with this one. The Lord of the Spiders was originally The Blades of Mars. This was the sequel. And we're about to go through quite a bit of Moorcock. So we have The Sleeping Sorceress, The Singing Citadel, Stormbringer, The Stealer of Souls, The Bull and the Spear, The Queen of the Swords, The Eternal Champion, Gloriana, Breakfast in the Ruins, The Blood Red Game, and Phoenix in Obsidian. I think that's what I've got for Moorcock the writer in this pile, but Moorcock was also the editor of New Worlds magazine. And here from Sphere Science Fiction is a compilation of writings from that magazine, New Worlds 2. It's very UK heavy in terms of selection, but that is no bad thing. We have Michael Moorcock, Keith Roberts, Norman Spinrad, William Woodrow, M. John Harrison, J.G. Ballard, Peter Tate, B.J. Bailey, George Zabrowski and Jack Dan, Thomas M. Dish, Michael G. Coney, Richard A. Pollack, Arthur Sellings, and M. John Harrison. Again, a collection of short stories from Nicholas Montserrat, The Ship That Died of Shame. Next up, Sir Thomas Malory, Le Mort d'Arthur, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Silverlock by John Myers. This is a book from Ace Science Fiction with not one, not two, but 3 introductions from Paul Anderson, Larry Niven and Jerry Pournelle. People seem to have some very good things to say about this book. And speaking of Larry Niven, The Ringworld Engineers, a sequel to Ringworld, which I did enjoy, but have not read this one yet. A collection of Niven's shorter works, N-Space. From Arrow Science Fiction in 1973, Barry N. Maltzberg, The Men Inside, which you could have got from W.H. Smith for 20p. Drop the N here, not entirely sure why. This is Tactics of Conquest from Pyramid Books. From Ballantine Science Fiction in 1971, Satellite 540 by Douglas Mason. The Sea Sword by Adrienne Martin Barnes. Not an author I'm familiar with, and annoyingly 4th in a sequence. 2 books from Ngao Marsh, so some mystery. We have Swing Brother Swing, Murder at the Metronome. And a cover which always makes me laugh, Colour Scheme. From 1989, from Door Fantasy, Laurie J. Marks, Delane the Mislaid, so Foundling Fantasy. From Penguin Classics, Thomas Mann, Royal Highness. A fantasy anthology edited by Catherine M. Masfurch and Martin H. Greenberg, 15 original tales of women who work swordcraft and spellcraft in defence of all they hold dear. Warrior Enchantress. And this has Kenneth Lee, Andre Norton, Melanie Rawn, Josephus Sherman, Diana L. Paxson, William F. Wu, Rosemary Hawley-Jarman, Rebecca Orr, Stephen Rogers, Laura Resnick and Kathy Tredick, Pamela Sargent, Lois Tilton, Jennifer Robertson, Mary Frances Zambrano, and Deborah Wheeler. So some names I'm familiar with and some names that are new to me. So I look forward to this one at some point. A movie tie-in from Richard Matheson, The Box, which is a collection of short stories. I think this was originally titled Button Button Uncanny Tales, before someone made a movie out of one of those tales. Next, from Pinnacle Books paperback, Hostage by Colin Mason. So, possible future Garb August candidate. Nuclear war worries, Cold War, geopolitics, and mega death. And some more Larry Niven now. Quite a bit more Larry Niven, so bear with me. A Hole in Space. Not to be confused with Elon Musk. A Hole in Space. A Gift from Earth. Neutron Star. A World Out of Time. Inconstant Moon. And The Patchwork Girl. In Penguin Classics, the Nibelungenlied. So a bit of Wagnerian fun fantasy there. Anne McCaffrey, The Ship Who Sang. Murray Leinster and Miners in the Sky, with fairly abstract groovy cover. Part 1 of Mike Ashley's The History of the Science Fiction magazine. This is a little bit of history at the beginning, followed by a selection of very early pulps. So The Coming of the Ice by G. Peyton Werthenbacher from 1926. The Machine Man of Adathia by Francis Flagg from 1927. Out of the Sub-Universe by R.F. Starzl from 1928. The Eternal Man by D.D. Sharp from 1929. The Power and the Glory by Charles Willard Diffin from 1930. The Voice from the Ether by... is it Ether or Ether? The Voice from the Ether by Lloyd Arthur Esbach from 1931. The Asteroid of Gold by Clifford D. Simak from 1932. The Land of Unreason by Edmund Hamilton from 1933. One Prehistoric Night by Philip Barshofsky from 1934. And Davy Jones's Ambassador by Raymond Z. Galoon from, I'm going to guess, 1935, but it doesn't say. So yes, again, old pulp authors, this time with a lengthy sort of history stroke introduction by someone who knows the entire story. A trio of books now from Keith Laumer, author of the Retief series, and also a novel, A Trace of Memory, which I really liked. This is The Monitors, Galactic Odyssey, and The Glory Game. John le Carré and Smiley's People, so a sequel to Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Don't think I've read this yet. I really ought to, because I really enjoyed Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Western Time Now and Clay Fisher War Bonnet from Corgi Books. A trio of Bernard Malamud books. So this year I read my first Malamud, The Natural, and absolutely loved it. Here is Dubin's Lives, The Assistant, and A New Life. The Ghostwriter by Philip Roth. Worlds by Joe Haldeman with a pretty disco cover. Telepath by Spider Robinson. Startide Writing by David Brin. Space Dolphins. Rumour Godin in This House of Breed. I picked this up in Rye in West Sussex at Lamb House, the house that Rumour Godin rented, and the third author to have lived in that house. Before her, E.F. Benson. Before him, Henry James. 2 Corgi science fiction books from J.T. McIntosh, The Fittest and World Out of Mind. One more McIntosh, this time from Avon Science Fiction, Transmigration. And to finish us for today, Fritz Leiber, The Wanderer, The Secret Songs, A Spectre is Haunting Texas, The Silver Eggheads, Ship of Shadows, Conjure Wife, The Best of Fritz Leiber, Swords and Deviltry, and 2 copies of Swords in the Mist. Now I've got the Grafton here, but I've also got the Ace book, and I got a feeling this is the first publication of Swords in the Mist. Now I have the other, or 2 of the other Grafton books, so I sort of want to keep the Grafton, but also look at that. I can't get rid of it. I think I might have to keep 2 copies of this book and break one of my rules. But there we are for today. Sorry that I had to redo a video. It's gonna probably screw up any kind of continuity I have, but I want to keep these in order insofar as I can. So until next time, which I've already recorded and edited, bye.